So we are 1 week away from Summer Game Fest 2023, where we will get a Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay trailer, an official trailer, kind of let us know what is going on with everything Mortal Kombat 1. That's what we're all waiting for. And as you've seen from my previous videos, the leaks have been coming and coming and coming, and I have another one for you guys. This is from Reddit, and this one kind of dives into characters that will be in the game, as many of them have in the past, along with more story details, who the villains could be, and just some other interesting details. And this one I'm actually it's gonna be in parts. It's gonna be the actual leak itself. And then this one's interesting because it is from Reddit, including some of the comments that other Reddit users had for this leak, because the initial user that did the leak, he kind of responds to the comments, and it kind of gives more details of the leak overall, kind of fleshes it out a little bit more and gets some more confirming details. So this comes from user Maz or Maze. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. It says, Rain will make a return, but this time he won't be a god or a villain. He is still a schemer, but he won't be a villain in the game, in the story of this game. Let's see. Reiko is actually the main villain. He was brought back by Shang Tsung and threatens an invasion of Edenia. Of course, Reiko was a general for Shao Kahn, so that's very interesting. Sindel, in her human form, is also brought back along with Tanya. This game actually retcons the last game's retcon of her being evil all along. You know, a retcon of retcon. We love that. Noob is also back, but he's not Bihan. He's an inhabitant of the Chaos Realm ruled by Havoc. That's interesting. Havoc is back and serves as a secondary antagonist for the game. Okay, I'm guessing maybe he'll be working with Reiko. Sounds kind of familiar, right? This game features a choose-your-own-adventure style of story where, in certain cases, you'll be able to make dialogue choices. All right. You'll also get to choose the fighters you want to play in the story encounters, like in Mortal Kombat 12. I think they mean like Mortal Kombat 9 and 10. The game features 3 endings that I do not know the details of as of now. Multiple characters are actually getting rebooted. I already told you of Rain and Noob, but there's more. Stay tuned. These are all the story details I know right now. So just from that, as far as the Reiko and the Havoc storyline, I didn't see anything there about Scarlet, but it kind of reminds me of the Mortal Kombat X comic series. That's kind of what that was revolved around, which I'd be fine with if they flesh that out into a game, but I think there's other stories to tell, and if we're going to do like a reboot where we're kind of in the same Mortal Kombat universe, but kind of doing something new and different, I don't know why we would go backwards with that, but that's my thoughts about that. I do like that Sindel will be back in her human form. Doesn't mean that she can't necessarily be evil, but as far as her, you know, not being a revenant and stuff like that and brought back, whatever, but I think that's kind of interesting. I don't really know what Rain's purpose would be in the game. He's still a schemer, but he won't be a villain in the story game. So kind of how he's been before, where it's kind of tag along with Tanya and the kind of out, you know, in the background, just doing things here and there, I guess. So there's the initial leak, and then more of the meaty bits and pieces is what the commenters had to say about the leak. So one user, Lyrica, posted, I think he's trolling. He also said Sindel won't be in the game at all on another topic. Then he deleted the comment before making this topic, saying she's in it. And then the leaker Maz replied, or Maze, I said Sindel was in the story, not playable. She could be a cameo or non-playable character. That's why I said story details in my post and lumped Tanya in with her. I am 100% confident on Rain and Noob because they have full overhauls to their characters and I've seen images. I'm also 100% confident on Reiko and Havoc, not Single or Tanya though. I think he meant not Sindel or Tanya though. So in other previous leaks, you know, and the one I did recently, Noob Saibot wasn't even mentioned in there at all. We have seen Rain a couple times being mentioned, and of course Sindel, she was mentioned in the last leak, and she's mentioned in other ones. Even a stage, Sindel's Garden was mentioned, and Tanya has been listed in previous leaks too. So, you know, the same characters over and over and over again, but sometimes those are also the same characters we always want to see and have in games. So nothing really new there. But continuing on, another one, we have Bestia Somnia posted, for Reiko to be brought back by Shang would require both A, for him to be established in the modern reboot games and dead, and B, Shang to actually be alive. We already saw Shang die in the reveal cinematic, and now he's just a pre-order character like Goro, so any leak involving him I'm just going to consider automatic BS. Also, in a universe where everyone is alive again, the ruler of Outworld is either likely Shao or a Naga. The later more so because Shao Kahn was already used as a villain several times, like in Mortal Kombat 9, Reiko has never been a comparable threat, and that was before Fire God Liu Kang existed, who absolutely, craps on Raiden. And then the leaker responds, pre-order bonuses are still part of the story, though. It's clear he isn't the main villain, but he's still a villain. And he is an overarching antagonist because he causes a lot of conflict in this game. I've heard that he dies very early in the story, but not before merging his realm with Liu Kang. So in previous leaks, I think I've seen, they've talked about possibly there being like this big battle on Earthrealm or whatever realm Fire God Liu Kang is at. And that could possibly be what he's referring to, but that was like from a totally different leak from a different place. So it's kind of interesting that we have like some overarching, themes going on. Let's see. Lyrica again posted, fine, I'll give you this, but that's only because that lines up with the NetherRealm Studio specifically saying that characters will be reimagined. And then the leaker says, Johnny, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero will all be very different moveset-wise too. So it's interesting that he talks about movesets, so going back kind of the gameplay mechanics. So not just the graphics and the overall look of the character, but also how they move, which we know that every time there's a new, complete overhaul of the game, obviously some things are going to be very similar in how they function and move, but, improved and modernized a little bit. So Drain213 posted, no they won't, Scorpion is still going to have his spear, Sub-Zero will still have his ice ball, etc. Every game, every character technically changes with moves, all but the core moves stay, which I just said. Sub-Zero, not Zub, Sub-Zero wouldn't be Sub-Zero without his ice ball, same with Scorpion. And the leaker goes on to reply, the moves do come back, but they look and feel a lot different. I think Scorpion and Sub-Zero may be brothers with Kuai Liang, actually being Scorpion. This might sound very stupid, but you can notice in the trailer that they have the same clan symbol. Now, I won't go into too much details about that theory. There are tons of videos on YouTube you can watch that kind of dive into the theory about why they have the same kind of look and feel, and they're more acting like brothers. I think that this goes more to the story of how the game is portraying them and more of the cameo aspect of it, make your choices, fight together, fight apart, that kind of thing. I don't know if it's so much actually really ingrained in their stories, but I think it's more of just how the game mechanics actually play out. That's just my 2 cents about it. And then there's got a couple more. This one I thought was really interesting because it's from our friend Captain Cashup, who posts leaks of his own. So I thought this was kind of ironic that he's claiming another user's leak is wrong. But anyways, I digress. So he says, you also said that Scarlet isn't in the base roster and that she's being looked at for a Combat Pack 2, so you obviously know more. So tell me, which non-ninja, non-Shaolin human characters are in the roster outside of Johnny Cage? Sonya, Jax, Cassie, Jackie, Kano, Stryker? And then the leaker replies, Stryker is 100% not in the game. Womp womp, Stryker fans, so sad about that. Again, this is all just a leak. I'm just kind of going with it, but this is a leak, so always take leaks with a grain of salt, guys, as I've commented in many of my videos and I've said in the video. This is all just for fun speculation. A lot of these leakers, sometimes they may know something, maybe they don't. There could just be fans just like we are, but sometimes the more and more you read these, the more and more things sound truthful, and we won't really know until next week. So this is just for fun. Just take it with a grain of salt. He says, I've heard that Boraicho is though. I also heavily doubt Cabal is in it, but there's a chance, I guess. Oh, I wanted Cabal to be in it. So Boraicho kind of makes sense given how we're, the Shaolin monks kind of area. So it kind of makes sense for him to be there, but it doesn't have to be. Define Ninja, does Tanya also count as one? I guess if she did, that mean Jade would have to, I guess, maybe. There aren't many characters to choose from, and they won't pad the roster out with irrelevant characters. There aren't that many characters to choose from. Oh, I guess for what Mortal Kombat 1s are going to offer. Characters like Kai, Taven, and Dagon are going to be cameos. I don't know how I feel about Taven and Dagon, but there you go. Considering that even Raiden is not an Elder God anymore, I don't know how someone like Fujin, not Fujij, how Fujin fits in the story, but since Boraicho is the trainer of Liu Kang and Kung Lao, he fits in perfectly. So there's that. And then got 2 more. Let's see, another one from Captain Cashup. He says, you didn't answer my question. What about SF characters, aka Cassie Cage and Briggs? So Sonya Blade, Cassie Cage, Jax Briggs, Jackie Briggs. So he says, no Jackie or Cassie. This game is a reboot and they would never fit into the story. none of the other combat kids either. Takeda is the only one, and he's DLC. He has no part in the story. So we have seen this in a previous leak where if the combat kids were back, it was going to mainly portray them as evil entities, and they would have, you know, Titan Katana was going to take them out, and then Takeda was going to be included as a cameo. So that kind of goes along that same relation, you know, something similar to that. Let's see. And the final one again is from Captain Cash Up, I believe, and he says, so not a single gun user? And Moz replies, not that I've heard of. I don't know the details of the full roster, so maybe we could see someone like Erron Black return, but as far as I know, there aren't any gun characters. Which is really interesting because in the previous leaks I just reported on, Erron Black was a character mentioned that would be in the game. So, very interesting details. I don't know that this one is really fully fleshed out like the leaker presents it to be, or how he probably thought it was. I think it gives us a good idea of some of the characters that are going to be in the game. But as far as Havoc and Reiko being villains in the game, I do kind of like the idea of other realms seeing the opportunity to take advantage of the realm that Liu Kang has created and trying to, you know, make themselves known and maybe be the main villain. I do kind of like that idea. It's something, you know, it's in all the games, you know, you've had Shao Kahn the Emperor trying to take over all the realms. You've had Shinnok try to do the same thing, you know, have the one being or Onaga, all that kind of stuff. So it'd be kind of interesting to see other realms where we have other evil entities that are maybe originated from there, kind of taking the opportunity to seize their own piece of the pie. I actually think the character of Havoc is kind of interesting. I'd like to know more about him, see him more fleshed out. So I think it'd be interesting to see more of him and maybe the blood magic aspect and Reiko and Scarlet and all the other of the characters. You know, it would be a different way to go about it, or more of this idea of all these evil entities from all these different realms. It could even be like multiversal. I know people are saying it's not a multiverse kind of story, but you know, past, present, future, whatever you want to call it, kind of ganging up on Fire God Liu Kang and the Earth realm, where it should kind of say, you know, we want to have this and kind of make it this ultimate battle. It'd be kind of cool. Just an idea. So what do you think about these leaked details? Are you excited about it? Do you want to see Reiko and Havoc as antagonists? Do you want to see Rain make a return and Sindel and Tanya? What do you think about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And that's it for this video, guys. Enjoy that like button. If you want more, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.